Welcome to the Digital Maddy Show with your host and host Miithyl, a show made exclusively for solopreneurs, artists, and coaches who wants to build their digital empire. With 15 plus years of business experience, I share topics on personal branding, content creation, and digital marketing on this show and invite many experts who share the same passion like mine. Today we have an amazing guest on our show. His name is Chris Myles, and let me just give a little introduction about him. So he got married in 2013 and found out that they were expecting their first son in 2016, and they just thought of how do they go ahead and build an amazing family. So the wife sat down and explained why she needed to quit her 40k dollars a year job to be able to provide the mommy care and not have to resort to a daycare. And that's how the journey started for Krish, with niche blogging, YouTube, and affiliate marketing. And you know what? After 18 months later, they were making enough to pay off their debt and also to retire his wife. So he is a self-proclaimed Seinfeld and The Office and a huge sucker for a good Marvel movie. Is passionate about investing in online business. So let's go ahead and welcome the hero of the show right now, Krish. Hi.
Hey, Miithyl, thanks so much for having me on. It's glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. This is going to be fun. I'm really excited to jump into this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Krish, why don't you share your backstory with all of us?
Yeah, so you kind of went into it a little bit just now, but for the most part, we got married in 2013, and I remember we were doing fine. It was just me and my wife. It was just us, and then all of a sudden, we found out that we were pregnant with our first son, Benji. And when he came along, pretty much everything changed. I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. I've done everything when it comes to trying to make money. I used to moonlight as a DJ on the weekends. I've bought and sold clothes online, computers online, everything. And none of it really worked. But when I found out that my wife wanted to quit her job so that she could take care of our son full time, I needed to come up with something that I could stick with, that was going to actually be beneficial for the family. And I stumbled on blogging and affiliate marketing, and I'm not going to say it was easy. I had to go through quite a few roadblocks just to get to where I wanted to go, but just a little bit of diligence and a little fire behind me, because my son was coming, and he was coming no matter what, right? So I had to come up with something quick, and I started with blogging, stuck with it, and pretty much within about 18 or so months, I was making enough money to have my wife quit her job. And I didn't even plan it, but in a few months later, I went ahead and quit my job as well, because it got to the point to where working a 9 to 5 and being gone for 15 hours a day was a waste of time, which it probably normally is, but it was a waste of time, and I could have used that time now to work on my own stuff, my own business, and it's been really fun ever since.
That's super awesome, Krish, and simply love it. So I'm super excited because yes, like you, even I started my journey as a blogger, then a YouTuber, a podcaster, so eventually a content creator, and then a digital coach. So Krish, super excited to have you here. And there's one question I would like to ask you because your story is very interesting. So Krish, how long does it take to actually really be successful with an online business?
Yeah, that's always the question, right? So it really just depends on the business itself. So I really believe that there's a ton of ways to make money with digital marketing or online. But which one are you going to stick with the longest and just push through regardless of what's going on? Everything's going to get hard at some moment. But if something gets difficult and then you move on to something else, and then something gets difficult with it, and you move on to something else, you're going to end up being kind of like maybe if you're in college where you keep changing your major every year. It's going to take you 10 years to do anything, right? So when it comes to, I know that's a big vague answer, but as long as you stick with something long enough, it's going to eventually work. You have to put your mind to it, and it'll get there. Something like blogging or affiliate marketing, YouTube or whatever, I would say give something at least a solid 6 to 12 months before you even decide if whether or not it was working for you or not. And it has to be a legitimate shot. It can't just be, working on it, 30 minutes here, and then a month later working on it another 30 minutes. It needs to be a legitimate shot, and don't come back to me until after 6 months to a year has passed. Then we can reassess and figure out if you should continue with it or not. So I would say give it a solid year, maybe 2 years max, and then from there you can usually, if you can just kind of buckle down just for a little bit, you can change literally the rest of your life. So you just got to figure out what works for you, what you like doing, and stick with it.
Wow, this is actually deep, Krish. And yes, in India, the business community primarily says that in order to become successful and also check whether this business is actually for you need to stay in the business for 1,000 days. So when you are there in
Okay.
this business for 1,000 days, you will actually get to know whether you are crafted to be in this business or not.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And because you kind of throw something out there. One thing that I always talked about is when I was working a regular 9 to 5 job, you always had a boss who tells you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and all of that fun stuff. But when you're working for yourself, it's now up to you. You're the CEO, you're the manager, you're the worker, you're doing everything there. And if you don't have that right motivation behind you, then you're not going to carry it out the way that you need to. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of my previous businesses didn't really work out. I didn't have the right motivation. But when I knew that my son was coming in less than 9 months, I needed to figure out something super quick. That's really what the motivation that I needed in order to stick with it over and over again. And eventually it worked out. It ended up being one of the best decisions that I had ever made in my life. And I'll cry the day I have to get a regular job again, but I'm trying to stave off employment as much as I can.
Awesome. That's super awesome, Krish. And I really pray that yes, you build a busy, beautiful empire for your entire family.
Yeah, and that's really what the goal is. Like, I kind of created the moniker Benji's dad, right? Because Benji is my son, and I figured, you know what, let's just go with Benji's dad. That was my wife's idea, actually, and coming up with it, it actually really helped because now when I create content, whether it's on YouTube or on my podcast or anything like that, people say, oh, okay, who's Benji's dad? And then it kind of automatically shows that, okay, he's a family guy who's just trying to make a living for his family. And that's the initial reaction that I really want from people because it'll immediately, it takes me off of a pedestal. I don't want to be on a pedestal, right? I want to be right there in the weeds with everybody and see that, hey, I'm just trying to take care of my family and this is what I've been doing. I think you can do it too. Let me help you, kind of a thing.
Awesome. So, Krish, I have seen that you also take interest in website investing. So, can you throw some light on that? So, what basically is website investing?
Yeah, so website investing is something that's actually near and dear to me because I've gotten into it within the last 3 to 4 years. But it's a way to invest your money into a valuable asset online. And you think about, when you do any type of investing, you're normally buying a piece of a company or of a business and then hoping that it increases in value over time. That's the exact same thing when it comes to website investing. There's a ton of different types of websites you can invest in. The ones that I specialize in the most is content websites where people are publishing helpful content that is can be found on Google using Google search engine optimization or SEO. And usually these websites and businesses make money through display ads or affiliate marketing or something of that nature. But the beauty of it is that it's extremely consistent. Usually once you get a decent amount of traffic to your websites, you can make money not just for a few weeks or a few months, but usually years on end. After you've gotten through, the hardest part, which is basically creating it and getting the traffic. Once you've gotten to that point, now it's all about just keeping it consistent. So with website investing, you can buy and purchase these websites that are already making money, and you can usually get an immediate return on your money. So for example, if you have 20 or 30 $1,000, you can buy a website that makes anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per month consistently. There's not many investments that you can buy and you literally within that month start to get a return on your investment immediately. And that's what website investing all is. And I've been doing that now for a while now. One of the barriers to website investing is being able to have that upfront money to be able to buy a website. But after I sold my first website, I had the capital to be able to buy an existing website. And one of the beauties of website investing as well is the fact that you can find underperforming websites or websites that can make more money if you made a tweak here or a change there or anything of that nature, and you can now increase the value of that website because it's now making more money over time. So if you could buy a site that's a little cheaper, make the changes to it, you could sell it for a lot more than when you first bought it, meaning you can flip websites essentially. And it's a pretty wonderful business model. It's a little technical, but once you get into the weeds, it's actually not that bad, and it's a great way to invest your money.
Wow. So this is also something which can help you in building your a proper cash flow, and if done it in the right way, it can do tremendous amount of fantastic result. Super excited.
Yeah, it's very similar to, buying and selling real estate. You buy a house and you get someone to rent it, and you can try to get that cash flow, like you were mentioning. And you pay the mortgage, you pay the insurance, you pay the taxes, but then you get to keep whatever extra, it is. It's kind of similar to a website. It's just digital real estate that's generating an income. You don't have to worry about getting a renter for it, though. But usually, it's already making you money, and because of that, you can start getting an immediate return on your investment, literally within a month.
Wow. So, Krish, I would love to have a bit about your secret too. So, since you are into a niche blogging, so definitely SEO keywords play a vital role, not just in crafting the entire content, but also later on assisting Google and many other search engines to try to help you out. Okay, like can you share your process how you do that?
Yeah, so I focus mainly on Google SEO, search engine optimization. I focus on Google for the most part and trying to get articles to rank there, but you're going to also get articles to rank in other search engines like Bing or DuckDuckGo or any of these other websites that are out there. But for the most part, Google's going to be like the main cash cow that you're looking to get, because that's the one that I believe they have 3 to 4 billion active users, a month, and that's billion with a B, which is insane. So the whole idea is to try to get in front of people who are looking for answers to questions. So that's what you do with Google. You go to Google and you ask it a question, and hopefully it gives you the right answer. But I'm sure everyone has been in a situation where they tried to Google something and maybe they had to search through 10 different websites just to find that answer. Well, a lot of people will get frustrated in a situation like that, but me as a niche blogger, that's opportunity, because now I can go in and see, okay, if there's nothing out there that's sufficiently satisfying what's called the search intent, is it answering the question? If it's not and there's nothing out there, I can then create content that does satisfy the question, satisfies that search intent, and now I can get eyeballs on my content. Now, once I get eyeballs on the content and you get the traffic, making the money is actually the easy part at that point. You just need to figure out what resonates with that type of audience. Usually display ads is going to give you a nice consistent return as long as you're getting the traffic. But affiliate marketing is probably one of my favorite ways, because you don't need a lot of people to make money with affiliate marketing. So I just do the keyword research, figure out where there's underserved topics online that aren't answered well, that the search intent is not done very well with. And from there, I can create content that does rank number one. People can find it, and then I make money through either display ads, affiliate marketing, generating leads, and then selling those leads, whatever it happens to be.
So how do you, Krish, like when you go ahead and create content? So what is the process of finding the right keywords, because that's play a very vital role in actually crafting the content for blogs. So what's the thought process that goes behind that? Can you share something more on it?
Yeah, so a lot of people use a lot of fancy tools, to try to figure out, your Ahrefs, your SEM Rush, your main goals, or whatever you're using. But I basically just use Google Auto Suggest. I go to google.com, I type in my niche, and just figure out, the letter A and then B and then C. So just to give you an example, if I was in the golfing niche or something, I would type golf A and the letter A, and then see what Google auto completes under it, and then golf B, and then C, and all the way down the line. Once I find some categories or some seed keywords, then I'll put those in there and Google it and see what pops up on the front page. I'll look at places like People Also Ask, which is that little section that has all of the random questions and things. And From those questions, I would then Google them and see if they have sufficient answers to those questions. If they don't, it's an opportunity for me to be able to create content. So that's what I use mainly is Google Auto Suggest. I like to use that because I don't 100% trust the volume of all of these tools. And then everyone uses these tools. So you're going to end up going after the same content that everyone else in your niche is going after. But usually Google is going to give you whatever is up to date, whatever is going on, and what's doing best at that moment. And in terms of traffic, you may not always know exactly how much traffic is getting, but Google wouldn't auto suggest it or auto complete it if it wasn't getting any traffic. So usually I just go with that, and I've done pretty well just by doing that over the last few years.
That's simply awesome, Krish. And thank you so much for openly sharing your entire process. Loving it, Krish. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new, to be honest. Just a little bit of research that I've done, and by putting out content online and seeing how it ranks, then I saw it was a process that's working, and it's really big right now because of all of the updates that Google has had on their search engine in recent months and years. Just crafting good, helpful content tends to stick around for years versus always going for what's called your affiliate content, your best X for Y type things. Going for the more informational stuff is a little higher in the quote unquote sales funnel, but you can make money on each person that way by using display ads, which is really the best way to do it.
Awesome. So, Krish, with this, we come to the end of the phase one of the interview. And the phase two is all about rapid fire round, where I'm going to ask you 5 questions. And what the first thing that comes in your mind, you just have to share that. So, are you ready?
Okay. Oh, let's do this. I'm excited. This is my favorite part I want to do. So let's go.
Lovely. So, Krish, for fun, let me just zoom in a little bit for making it more intense. Ooh.
Ooh,
All
all
right.
right. Let's go.
So, what is the first question is, who do you admire the most?
Who do I admire more? That's a very, very good question. As of right now, I kind of admire my son, which is kind of weird, right? So we get in, I mean, we're family, and there's gonna be times where at this moment I just don't like you, or something like that. But for the most part, I just love the innocence that's there, and just knowing, what he says is really coming from his heart. He's not trying to deceive anybody or anything. At least not now. When he gets older, he's probably gonna try to do all of that. But as of right now, just I love the innocence that's there, and because of that, it's helped me become a better person by not being so selfish, because everything's not about me. I'm always trying to do what I can to get this family nice and happy, and have a better life than even I did growing up. And I would have to go with that as well.
Awesome. Okay. Krish, how do you describe yourself in 3 words?
Ah, let's see. I would say persistent. You can definitely ask my wife on that one. Ambitious. I don't mind, just trying something out. And I would also say probably a risk taker. I would give it a shot just to see what happens, because I would rather see what happens rather than regret by not giving it a try. So I fear regret more than I fear failure. And by doing that, it gives me a lot of a chance to give things a try and not be like, well, I wish I had done that. I don't want to be on my deathbed, and say, man, I wish I had given that a try. I'm going to at least, even if it doesn't work out, even if it doesn't work out. So that's the three I would go with.
Wow, lovely. So, okay, now since you have a kiddo, so who's your favorite cartoon character and why?
Oh wow. This is interesting because I love cartoons. I've been watching cartoons my whole life. Even when it was just me and my wife, we still watched cartoons. We didn't really care. But as I've gotten, become a father, I've been introduced to newer cartoons. And some of them are good. And probably one of my favorite ones is called PJ Masks. I don't know if you ever heard of the PJ Masks. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, he's kind of gotten a
save the
little
day,
older.
save the day and save the night.
Yes, exactly. Save the day, save the night. It's fun. It's probably one of my favorite ones. It has a bit of a old school vibe to it with the music and everything. And I guess that kind of goes back to when I used to watch like Batman and Robin like years ago. But it's really cool. I like it when he watches it because I don't have to worry about much. It's a decent show. And but I can sit there and watch it with him all day, literally.
Wow. Awesome. So, coming to the fourth question, what is the one thing that you would like to add in your bucket list for 2022?
Oh, for 2022, the bucket list. Always wanted to go to the Maldives. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but it's on the list. So it's a pretty pricey trip because you need to fly out to an island and then you got to get on a boat to get there. It's a long thing, but man, some of the pictures there are just amazing. And if not the Maldives, then maybe Bali or something like that. I mean, those are really bucket list places that I would like to go to, within the next year or two.
Awesome. Maldives is our neighbor, so I know about it. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Man, it's you see so many people who have the opportunity to go, and coming there from this part of the world, it's not the cheapest trip in the world. So you kind of have to budget it. You have to make sure that you have the income and the expendable income to be able to put into it. But I'm a kind of a credit card snob too, so I'm getting my points up, and I got a lot of points, and I'm ready to just dump it into one of these aspirational trips that you really only get once or twice a lifetime. So that's definitely on top of the list right there.
Awesome. Awesome. So now, okay, the last question I had saved it in the end because I know you are a Marvel fan. So, who's your favorite superhero and why?
So I would have to say Captain America so far. I just love his purity, right? He's just good, and he's a rock. He's the tree. He's planted and he's not going anywhere. And being able to appreciate that, to know that when the chips are down, when you really need someone to help, he's going to be right there. And he's pretty much up there with probably one of my favorite ones. And I mean, the actor who plays him, Chris Evans, I think does an outstanding job, and how he's just a great actor in general. And the way that he's portrayed the character over the last 10 plus years, has been outstanding. And as of right now, I'll definitely say Captain America.
I know you can go whole day on this.
He can go all day, which is great. I do appreciate it. But like I said, I'm a sucker for a good Marvel movie. I just got caught up all in it ever since the first Iron Man, and it's been a fun ride ever since.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you, Krish, for participating in the rapid fire round. And now, all the people who are listening to this episode, if they want to connect with you, know more about you, and how to, go ahead, so where they can find you, can you share something about it?
Yeah, for sure. The number one place I would definitely say is my podcast, Blogger Evolution. Just search for it, on your regular podcast or whatever, and you'll be able to find it. And there I talk about, just building, passive income websites using Google SEO, affiliate marketing, and things like that. I share all my tricks and case studies of websites that I'm growing myself. And exactly, all of the inside tips on what I'm doing to grow them as fast as possible. So definitely check out the podcast Blogger Evolution, or you can check me out on Instagram if you want to chat with me directly. It's at Chris Myles Official, and just you can shoot me a DM if you got a question, comment, concern. Please let me know. I'll be super excited to chat with you. So check me out either on the podcast or on Instagram.
So all the links are available below. Do check out the links and do connect with Krish. And he's a fantastic guy, and it's an amazing talking to him. So Krish, before we end this particular episode, what is the one message you would like to give to all our listeners?
Oh wow, that's another good question. I think one of my favorite quotes is "Do something now that your future self will thank you for." That's been something that kind of like that fear of regret, fear of failure thing you were talking about earlier. I'd rather do it now and then 6 months later look at it and be, I'm glad I made that decision. So I want my future self to be happy with myself right now. So do something now that your future self will thank you for, will be my quote.
Awesome. So thank you so much once again, Krish, for taking your lovely time. I know it's in morning your side, and still you are committed to help a lot of people, and that's the reason why you're here. So it's an honor to have you here, Krish. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Miithyl. I do really do appreciate the time and being able to work with my schedule to be able to get this up and running.
Awesome. So you have just listened to the Digital Maddy Show with your host and host Miithyl. Thank you so much for listening to our show and showing so much love. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening to your podcast platforms, don't forget to follow on it. This is Miithyl signing off with Krish at the moment. Until next time, meet you soon with another guest and their exciting stories. But until then, keep rocking, stay safe, and don't forget to keep creating content. Ciao.